Hey guys, so this is changing your spark plugs in your 3rd gen Prelude. I mean, it's relatively the same for every car, but it gives you an idea for these cars. I have this tool because my local shop didn't stock the actual size I needed in a socket, but if you have a socket, ratchet, and then you have a socket for the spark plugs, it's like an extended one, but it has to be specific spark plug socket. Just because they have that deeper dish and they have a bit inside of them that grabs onto them. So, alright, so this is relatively a simple job. This is all you're doing here. It's really easy on this car. So let's start. Alright, so your common problems of knowing that you're going to have to do this is a bit of loss of power, having trouble to start. My car's having a lot of problems, but whenever you got a bunch of issues, I suggest starting off with basics, which is this: changing your spark plugs, fuel filter, and then you can start moving on to bigger stuff, because usually that's what settles down. So getting those out, just give them a little wiggle and they come straight out. These are your wires. You can be replacing them too, but I don't need to do that. So you grab your tool, and there's your spark plug. Now I suggest cleaning that out. I gave that one a bit of a clean out the other day, just so none of the crap falls into your engine bay. Alright, so it was actually Wednesday of the engine bay, so I don't have an air compressor out here as my car has died on the road, but just use a 4-wheel drive, air compressor straight to the battery, and I did the best I could. So time to take it out and put in the new. So as you can see, I've just got my spark plug tool in, unscrewing it just like this. All a pretty simple task. I made sure everything was blown out of there. There was actually a substantial amount of water. Yeah, and then eventually it should just come out like that. And where are we? That one. It's not horrible, but it definitely needed replacing. So, as we can see here, here's our new one. And here's our one. So, the gap's a little bit different, and you can check the gap either in the owner's manual, online. Alrighty, so once you have all that worked out, I haven't actually got the tool to adjust what I actually need to do. However, just assessing the gap and reading, just going off a rough estimate, it's okay. And if it starts to have trouble, then I know that the gap needs to be adjusted, and it's a simple job to take them out and put them back in. However, if you've got the gear to do that, I suggest doing that straight away. Also doing one spark plug at a time. I mean, it's pretty hard to get the wires confused, especially when they're in a line. They've all got their individual length. But if you're doing like a bigger engine, that I suggest either labeling them or just doing one at a time. So in it goes. And you screw it in like so. So as soon as you get to about where it's tight, if you got a torque wrench, I'm not sure about how much you need to torque it to. Just from what I know, once you get it good tightness, just about 1/4 of a turn. Not 1/4, but like maybe 1/8 of a turn, and then that's all it needs. Grab your ignition coil, wire, sit it back on, wait for it to pop, and that's all done. So then I'm going to move on and go through all the next. I'm going to see how it starts up. Alright, so got all the spark plugs changed. Here are all the old ones. All pretty gross and grimy, and yeah, they definitely need to change. Some are definitely better than others, but from my suspicions of what spark was failing was spark plug 1, which was this one, which is definitely the worst one. If I can get that to center. Definitely looks like it needs to be changed. I want to see how my car starts up, see if that fixed my problem. If not, back to the drawing board. All right, so here we go. I have a small suspicion it's also my starter relay that's messed up, but sometimes giving the starter relay a bit of a bang to work. Little wiggle. Alright, there you are. Well, I had no luck. Obviously got to go back to the drawing board and work out why it's not starting. Alright guys, well with some stubbornness and some playing around, I managed to get it started without changing anything else. What it seemed to be was something to do with my electrics, that obviously my spark plugs need to be changed, but giving my electric a good bang while cranking it at the exact same time, it fired up straight away. So that's my next job. Obviously that's what's causing it issues to start. Now it's idling okay. I want to see how it drives, and I'm going to see if that's what's fixed my low compression issue. Alright, so as you can see, it's driving fine, it's working fine. What originally made me try and work out what this issue was I did lose a lot of compression, which means if you're experiencing a lot of compression loss or a lot of power loss, this is exactly what it is, because now it feels like my engine's working fine, cylinders are going fine. At first I suspected I had a piston failure, but yeah, it's working fine.